Good evening on this Thursday evening, May the 14th, 2026. Welcome to Human Unity Project Group. This group is assigned to introduce you to the second principle of life for effective living and successful living that directs your attention to those with whom you are sharing this precious gift of life. It is through and by the efforts of others we're able to enter into that life we long to enter. According to what our source of life has presented, we are to develop a unique association with one another that will facilitate the growth and development required for us to enter into the next stage or stages of life for eternal and spiritual development. Of course, we use the physical for doing just that. The utterances, the statements and the expressions from the mouth of our source of life, understood to be commandments for us, should we choose to embrace them as such, indicate that working well with others is necessary if we're to enter into that life we speak of and long to enter. Our restless spirits remind us from time to time there's something else, because we're always searching. And we're searching because we're not yet involved or rooted in those words of life as expressed from the mouth of our Creator. But I can assure you, if you read what was expressed from the mouth of our Creator and you embrace that, incorporate it, and strive to act upon every word that proceeds from the mouth of our Creator, you will begin to provide rest for your own restless spirit. And the reason, as I said many times, we do have that restless spirit search all around us is because we have yet to anchor ourselves into that path established by the words of life expressed by our Creator. 6 of the 10 commandments, or utterances, statements, and expressions from the mouth of our Creator, direct our attention to those with whom we share this precious gift of life. This second principle of life directs our attention to loving others as we're to love ourselves. Perhaps our approach to others will determine if we will be successful or not in entering into the next phase of life, or that next phase searching for the extended life we long for. We will eventually reach an assigned level of growth. That's a promise from the words expressed from the mouth of our Creator. It's not His will that any should not complete the growth and development assigned to us. But the process for growth and development, listen to this, is tailored to fit the needs of the individual. Bet you haven't heard that before. I'm glad you're hearing it now, so prove me wrong. We're to grow and develop on our own terms, our decisions, our choices. And this was established from the boardroom of creation. Over the ages, many people have directed attention away from what was expressed from the mouth of our Creator to that which is presented by men operating in bunkers, moat-protected regions, or within walled communities who have established themselves as the head say in anything that comes from the Creator above. And as a result, we've gone to these guys or gals and sought their advice instead of checking out exactly what was expressed by our Creator. Our current era produces other than what was initially appointed for us to produce. The numerous divisive and competing political religious movements have loaded us up with their own made-up doctrines, very creatively established beliefs, and certainly there's that ever-present organizational practices that have redirected our attention to that which was never shared from the boardroom of creation for our focus. If we're to enter into that next stage of life, that next portion for personal growth and development, we're going to have to switch our focus and start looking at what was expressed from the mouth of our Creator. These various groups operating from the bunkers I talk about, or remote protected regions or walled communities, have their own gods, and these gods of the bunkers, etc., were developed by those who operate the leadership within them. There's not just one God according to what I see when I look out here among all these divisive and competing groups. It appears to me that each has been very successful in creating a God in his or her own image, and have convinced others that what they are portraying is the real creator of life. Do what you wish. But if you really believe there's but one God, you will also begin to say, hey, maybe something's wrong there. The God of life is life, okay? And if we're living, we're all connected with life. We're receiving our life from the same creator of life. And our creator is also identified as love. Love is the energy behind life that always produces, generates life. And we, as junior partners in life, we're connected with the life giver as his representatives on earth. We, at our assigned physical level, we're capable of emulating everything that our Father does at the spiritual level. We can do it at the physical level because we're made in the image and in the likeness of our Father in heaven. And in his likeness, in his image and likeness means we can, while operating within this realm of physicality, we can emulate the spiritual essence of our senior partner in life. Now, 6 of the initial 10 utterances, you know them as commandments, statements or expressions from the mouth of our Creator, direct our attention to those with whom we share this precious gift of life. You know, the one there says, honor your parents. It's directing your attention to those who gave you physical life. The second principle of life directs our attention to loving others as we're to love ourselves. To sum it all up, perhaps our approach to life will determine if we will be successful or not in entering into life, or that extended life and the various stages associated with it we often speak of. I am confident from my studies of the sacred text and all the material that supports it, that we, every single crowning achievement in the image and likeness of our giver of life, will eventually reach that assigned level of growth. But again, the process is tailored to fit the needs of each. We're to grow and develop on our own terms, and this was established from the boardroom of creation, and this is exactly how free moral agency works. You get to make decisions. You get to make choices. And if you mess them up, you get to go back to the drawing board and redo it. That's what teshuvah, or repentance, is all about. You learn by what you suffer. You learn by what you achieve. And that's what this process is all about. And we don't learn at the same pace. We do not. That's one reason I believe our Father in heaven says, do not dictate. Do not become some authoritarian or dictator over the lives of others, because you'll do well enough to take care of yourself and fulfill the purpose for which you were granted this assignment. Our current era produces other than what was initially appointed to be produced. The numerous divisive and competing political religious movements have loaded you and me up with their doctrines and their beliefs, and their organizational practices, and they're certainly not unified. They redirected our attention to other than that which was initially presented before us to focus on. Our Creator tells us to focus on life and appreciating life. And also we're to focus on sharing life and using life to create that healthier self-image. Entering into the next phase of life appears to be of no interest to the numerous divisive and competing political religious movements. But that's where we should. We should be focusing on life and how to properly share it with others as we express a deep appreciation to our source of life and maintain some sort of involvement with creating our own healthier self-image. You're supposed to improve yourself. You learn how to do your job better and ruling over the land, air, and sea creations. And you begin by learning how to take care of your family. They're the initial focus for you. And the community, when you have time to involve yourself in the community to help out there. We're heaven's representatives. And as heaven's representatives of our Creator, we should have effectively followed in the footsteps of our Father in heaven and generated, created, produced, promoted, sustained, shared, infused, and yes, refreshed life within our assigned physical realm, just as or in emulating in the image and likeness of our Creator as He does at that higher level of eternity and spiritual. We are to emulate our source of life in ruling over the land, air, and sea creations, again as we learn how to effectively rule over our own animalistic nature and bring our behavior into conformity with the will of heaven. And again, we're not permitted to rule over those with whom we share this gift of life. We're to make our world a better place in which to live. But we have to avoid attempts to lord over somebody else when, as we've been told, you'll do well enough if you gain full control over yourself. Phase 2 of life, additional courses in life, has to be chosen. And they're free. Life is free. You just have to choose it. Whereas the initial physical experience was also a free gift without any obligations. Your parents didn't come to you and say, let's make a deal before I give you life. Oh, you came into this world. But now, what you do with it, with this temporary experience at the Academy of Life, and how you prepare for your position in making choices, is up to you. We are partners with our senior partner in life in creating, generating, promoting, producing, sustaining, sharing, infusing, and yes, refreshing life at our assigned level within the realm of time and space. Emulating our Master of Life sharing encourages us to learn the ways and thoughts of our Father in heaven, who is life and who is also identified as love. Emulating our source of life, who is also our senior partner in creating and in creations, makes it possible for you and me to create, generate, promote, produce, sustain, share, infuse, and yes, refresh life at this Academy of Life. We're also appointed to use the eternal and spiritual energy known as love. Did you hear that? This is an energy, and life-producing energy. That's how we fulfill our job. If we use love, we will accomplish our assignment. We're appointed to use love in following in the footsteps of our Creator. Where was I? We're junior partners in life, appointed to represent our Father, who happens to be our senior partner. I know I repeat myself a lot. You've had so much stuff poured into your head from the numerous divisive and competing groups. I think it's my time to do some repeating of the facts, and maybe a few will let it sink in and begin to realize something's wrong out here, and we have to take care of it. We have to rectify things. Deceptions continue to get in the way of our own physical to spiritual growth, as well as growth and development of others in life. We are in an amazing position to restore that which has been overlooked due to the desire of man to create others into his own image and likeness. And that's what's happening around us. Actually, the numerous gods recognized by our brothers and sisters were created by the ego-driven and self-appointed scholar gentry who have been very successful in expressing their own image in the form of some god to be worshipped. At this location, this material, Crowning Achievement in the Academy of Life, our appointment is to direct your attention to what was originally uttered, stated, or expressed from the mouth of our genuine and eternal Creator of life, who placed you and me within time and space to represent Him and to acquire the necessary education for transitioning through the Academy of Life and entering into the various phases of life, eternal and spiritual, that are waiting for us to say, yes, I want it, but on your own terms as a free moral agent. Surely, by now, there's some questions beginning to jump in front of you. So give me a call. Ask. I will be very happy to answer your questions, as I encourage you to set up an in-home private study for a small group. I don't like large groups. I prefer the small family groups. There's no cost to you. This is free. And I don't come in and try to sneak in a request for donations. No, I don't need that. I earned my retirement the old-fashioned way. I work for it. I work very hard for it. Any of my employers will tell you, I didn't like sitting around. I want to get things done. So anyway, the time is running out on us here this evening. I do love you, and I'm sorry I can't give you the full scoop on everything. I don't think you could handle it. But it's amazing and it's incredible, because in the presence of our Creator are joys forevermore. There's no sadness. There's no fear-mongering or anxiety, grief associated activities. It's all positive. Everything has its place. Each part of the physical has a spiritual purpose. That is, a purpose for you to experience it so you can develop more spirituality. I appreciate you stopping by. Be well, be blessed. Drop in again.